Alright, in this video we're going to look at the latch drawing. It's a pretty simple drawing, kind of once you figure out how to do it. I mean, you can see it looks like it's just one extrude. There's just a thickness to this one. There's not multiple things on this. There is a cut here, but you can build that cut into the original extrude. So it's really one sketch and one extrude on this. It's just a matter of making sure that you have everything in place before you actually do your extrusion. So taking a look at this, we know we have material is AC1020. That's a steel. There are a couple different versions. Make sure you're selecting the one that says AC1020, not cold rolled or anything like that. Just make sure it just says AC1020. Units is going to be MMGS, and we do have three variables for this. We have A, which is 84. That's going to be our total length of our object. We have B, that's the distance from left to right of where this diagonal line is located. And then we have C, which is the height of this back part right here. Okay, so we're going to dive into this. Before we do, I kind of want to point a couple things out. Number one, this distance right here, you're not going to see a length on this distance because it is based upon the center of this arc right here. This arc, if you draw it with this center point, it's actually one great big circle, and that's the center point for it. And you can see that center point is collinear with this horizontal line right here. So as it comes across, that's where it's going to cut through. We can see our overall length, like I said, is 84, so you have to take that into mind whenever you're trying to locate this center point. You have a fillet right here of 5, and you do have another arch right here, or arc right here with a radius of 40. You have a couple of 45-degree angles on here, and one of the things that I try to teach during this section is bringing in some actual geometry. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem says that in any triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared is the hypotenuse. So the two sides will always add up to the square root, to the square of the hypotenuse. What that means in geometry when you're drawing is if I have these two that are the same, so like right here I have a height of 7 and I can also see a width of 7. Anytime I see that the height and width are the same, the hypotenuse can only be a 45-degree angle. Okay? It's what you call a right triangle. That's the only angle that it could be. So if we're looking at it up here on this opposite side, and so I showed you here that this is a 45, this ends up being a 45 as well, because if this is 32, 32 minus 18 is 14, minus 7 leaves 7 right here, so that means both these are 7, which means this has to be a 45-degree angle. We have the same thing going on over on this side. You can see we have 24 and 19, which leaves a distance of 5 here. 29 and 24 leaves a distance of 5 here, so that means that angle can only be 45 degrees. This one down here is a little different. So we have 35, and we have 29. So that means this angle is not 45 degrees. So we have to locate the center, okay? Let's dive into this. I want to start this as simply as I can, so I know I have a center point right here. So I'm actually going to start right there with that circle. So let's go ahead and dive into this. File, New, Part. I'm going to go front plane sketch. And again, I'm going to start with the circle. I'm already on MMGS. Mine defaults to that. So I'm going to start with the circle, and I know that circle was a diameter of 12. Okay, so then I can see that this line right here, this horizontal line, is 14 millimeters away, and it's also 14 millimeters away that way. So I'm going to go ahead and use a center line. Just go down. Smart to mention that, and that should be 14 away. That was from the center. Yep. So now I know I can start drawing this piece over here where I go left, up at an angle, up at an angle, and back over to the top of this. And I can see that the distance from the center of the circle here is 14, and this line here from this point to here is 14. So I know that this point ends directly above that circle. So let's go ahead and draw that. So I'm going to grab my line command. Just going to draw a line over, up at an angle, up at an angle, and I'm going to match this one to that because I know they're going to be the same, and and I'm going to end it directly above my circle. Well, we already said the overall height was 32. We said that the height of this line here was 18. We said our width from here to here was 14. And we said the same thing here. From here to here was 14. So far, so good. We know we have 7 here in the 45-degree angle. So let's go ahead and set those. So I can do 7. This should automatically now be 7, and it will make it a driven dimension if we try to place it on there, because we're already defining 32. So this would make it what we call driven or over-defined. We do not want that on there, so we're just going to hit cancel there. Let's go ahead and do the width here. That's going to be 7. Same thing down here, 7, or we could have put it on a 45-degree angle. Either one of those would have been perfectly acceptable right there. So now what we need to do is go ahead and I'm just going to bring a center line over, because we want to go ahead and start on this side over here. So I'm going to draw all this over here, all this up here, and then connect them in the middle. Okay, because I know I have all my arcs in the middle here. So if I took a line, and I just took a line from this point here over, well, how far is that? Well, I can do some math and say, well, if A is 84, and I've already gone 14, that means if I draw a line over 70, I should be right here at this point. Well, if I'm right here at this point, now I know I can go up 16, go up 19, go up at an angle, come over, and I'll get my line. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to say 70 here. And then I'm going to go from this point up with a regular line, up again, up at an angle, and then over. So I know I wanted this one at 16. I wanted this one at 19. I wanted from here to here at 24. We said this width was 29, and this one was 24. So again, 29, 24, 24, 19, 16, that's where I got all those dimensions. So now what I can do is start doing this other part. So I want to figure out where this goes from here to here. Now I already have the starting point up here. Now I just need the end point for that diagonal. Well, if I already know where this is, and I can go down 19, then go over B, which is 29, I can get that end point. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go, no, I should have used a center line right there. I really should have used a center line right here as well. That should have, and I can actually change that now. So you can just select on it until it construction geometry, and it'll change that to a center line, because we know that line's not actually a line, it's just the space in between there. So let's go ahead and use the center line and go down and then over. Let's put those dimensions on. So we said this was 19. 19 plus 16 gives us that overall of 35, which we saw. We said this was B, which was 29. So now, using a solid line, we can connect these two dots. Okay, so I have my diagonal. I'm going to bring this 70 out of here because I don't really need that anymore. Instead, what I'm going to do is put my overall dimension on here. That way that sticks in place. I like that dimension a little bit better. I know that's a known dimension. 70 really isn't anywhere on the drawing. And plus, I'm about to trim this little piece off. So I need this center point right here, right? If I hover my mouse, because I'm getting ready to draw this circle here, if I hover my mouse, I can't really get a center point, but if I just simply trim that piece, that gives me a center point. Now I can take a circle from that and smart dimension this, and we said it's a radius of 29, so 29 times 2 to give me diameter. Puts me right there. Draw a horizontal line over. I'm going to draw this horizontal line over here and then trim out the things I don't need. So I no longer need that part of the circle. I don't need that part. I don't need that part, and I don't need that part. I can leave this on here if I really want to. That's up to you. I usually take it off of there. I'm going to leave that dimension on there for now. The one thing I do want to do before I do anything else is make sure that that point stays right there, because you can see right now this is underdefined. So I know that this is perfectly in line with this horizontal line. So I'm going to do a quick control click. So I'm going to select on that point, control click it to this, and make it coincident. That keeps that from moving vertically. Okay. I could, if I want to, go ahead and put on these other dimensions and snap it to it. Not really necessary. If you want to double check to make sure what you have is good, what I'll typically do on here is measure this line right here. It should be 6.17 if you did it right. That's just based on where this angle, or sorry, this arc cuts through this line. 6.17, there we go. So I know I did that right. The only other thing I got to do is define a couple more lines here. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my arc here. And then I also need a fillet. This had a fillet of 5. I have a little piece. Whoa, 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 whoa. Undo. I have a little piece sticking out. Uh-oh, that's moving on me. So when that's moving on you, that's not good. Okay, so one of the things that we need to do is we didn't lock in that piece. That's what it is. So let's back up here. Back up, back up. Whoop. That's okay that that went away. Let's go ahead and it's this one right here that's moving on me. So I need to take that one and also make that one coincident. That locks that into place. Now you can see they're all defined. There we go. That's what I was missing. Let's put that back on there. We'll put our dimension on there. That was 40. Put our fillet on there. It was 5. And there's our object. Okay, so don't forget, sorry, and I missed that whenever I was doing that. I haven't done this part in about a year. I've done it 1,000 times, and even I forget stuff sometimes. So just looking at why it's underdefined and then figuring out, okay, what point would make this more defined, and that's what I was missing, is I didn't make that and that coincident with that horizontal line. All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to just simply features, extrude boss. And for this one, because it is just one object, you can either go blind, mid-plane, doesn't really matter, as long as you have the width here, which our width is 45. Here we go. And then make sure you put on your material, edit. This is going to be in steel. We're doing the AC 1020, just standard AC 1020. Close. And there's our product. Okay, good luck on that one. If you do have questions, again, please reach out.